What is up, people? My name is James Blissett, professional gambler and founder of Lucrative MMA, which is my handicapping service where I help people get paid from betting on MMA. And that's what we're looking to do today. UFC 287 full card picks and predictions. You guys know I love coming out for the pay-per-views. I love coming out for the main events, the big fights. I don't do the full card breakdown every single week. Kind of depends what response I get on the comments, with the likes on Twitter, that sort of stuff. But I'm liking this card. This is a serious card. Good card to make money. Good card to watch just for enjoyment purposes. And, you know, I got to support my boy Izzy. He's from Auckland. I live in Auckland. So I'm definitely supporting him here. And I wanted to come out and do a full card breakdown and hopefully help you make some money. That's what keeps me going, you know, helping people make money. I get lots of DMs. I get lots of messages, people telling me how much money they've made from my picks. I've had some crazy stories, man. People telling me they've gone on holiday. They've been able to throw parties. They've bought this thing that they wanted to buy. People have bought cars from my picks. I had this one guy tell me that he gave 10 grand to someone who he used to sleep on their floor. And she looked after him for a certain period of time. And now he's a bit older. He made money off my picks and ended up giving her 10 grand. So I get some wild stories about how people have spent the money I've made them. So those messages are the best. When you sign up to my service, once you start making money, let me know how that money has helped change your life, because those messages are always the best. Without further ado, I'm going to try and do it for free on this podcast to help you make some money. We'll analyze the whole fights, all of the fights, stylistically, and of course, through a betting lens, as I always like to do. Sometimes I do recaps, sometimes I don't. I mean, we had a great week last week. We won on the regional scene, Bellator and PFL. We lost on CFFC and Rising, but overall, it was a good week. We cashed on Will Flurry. They robbed me on Leah McCourt plus 325 against Kat Zingano. That was tough, but, you know, we kind of got it back with Will Flurry. I did score it for Jotko, so is what it is. You know, this year we've been doing great. Over 50 units in profit already. We're on pace to do another 100 unit year, maybe even more than that. We've got 200 unit years in our last 4 years already. Or in our last 3 years, we've won. Yeah, in our last 4 years, we've got 2 100 unit years. So, I mean, we're on pace to do it again on our fifth year. We'll see how it goes, man. I'm going to get straight into it right now. I'll break down the first fight of the night, and I'll bring it up some graphics, because a few of you said that graphics, you know, you like the graphics, you prefer to see graphics. So I'll bring it up for you now, and we will crack straight into it. The first fight of the night, Sam Hughes versus Jacqueline Amorim. Good fights, good fight to kick off the card. You know, a lot of people shit on Sam Hughes in general just because maybe she doesn't have the best style of all time. But I don't think they're going to be shitting on her opponent, Jacqueline Amorim. You know, it remains to be seen whether she can continue doing what she has been doing on the regional scene. But we don't know, right? We don't know if she's going to be able to do that. We see a lot of fighters come in with shiny records. You know, I remember that guy a few weeks ago. I can't remember his name, Ashkabov or something. It was Ashkabov, Hussein Ashkabov. He was 23-0, you know, undefeated. Lots of his wins come inside the distance, and he ended up getting beat up by Jamal Emmers, right? So we see a lot of these people come in, shiny records. Jacqueline Amorim is 6-0, finished every single one of her fights in the first round, but we don't know if it's going to continue, you know, but she looks like an exciting fighter. She has very, very good credentials. So I looked over her credentials. She's been fighting since a little kid, since a child. She has been competing in BJJ tournaments. She has been competing in judo tournaments. She's got very, very good credentials, right? And you kind of see it when she fights, you know. You definitely see her jiu-jitsu. She's got great jiu-jitsu. She takes all of her opponents down, basically, except for that one she knocked out in about 10 seconds. And when she gets on top, dominates them from top position and instantly gets a submission, right? It's not hard for her to transition from different submissions. It's something we don't see a lot. You know, even in fighters that have good jiu-jitsu. And by the way, can you guys let me know, what do you think of this format? Do you like me small in the bottom left, or do you like me showing my handsome face straight up like that? We'll keep it like this for now, but just let me know in the comments because I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on it. So if anyone does, let me know. But carrying on, we see in MMA a lot of the time that a fighter has a specific position. They have a good position, right? So, for example, we've got, who can I think? Charles Oliveira, he's very good when he takes the back. He's very good when he takes the back. I'm going to say, look, he's high-level jiu-jitsu guy, but I'm going to say that he's not the best at doing damage from side control, right? Obviously, he uses side control and stuff like that to transition to mount. To transition to the back. But there's very rare where you see fighters, they just flow from position to position. Someone like Joe Solecki can flow from position to position, Obviously, Oliveira can do it too, But what I'm saying is certain fighters have certain positions they like a bit more, and certain fighters just flow from any position. And it does seem like Jacqueline Amorim is yet to be seen. She has 6 fights. It does seem like she can flow from different position to different position, right? And that's something you love to see from any BJJ fighter. They don't have to find a specific position. Back take or bust, we hear that sometimes. Jacqueline doesn't seem she's like that. And especially when she's coming up against, these girls that are not too good, she doesn't need to do that. And I mean, in the UFC, even in women's MMA in general, it's not as progressed as men's MMA. So she's probably going to be able to do what she does against a lot of fighters, even in the UFC. Now, on the other hand, we've got, just touching on her striking. Striking looks okay, a bit rudimentary. She looks like she has some power in her hands, although, I don't necessarily know if she's got that much power. She knocked out that one girl, but at the end of the day, this girl was like 1-0, something like that. I believe it was 1-0, and she's fought nobody, right? So I don't really think she's going to be knocking people out. We never know, but I don't think so, right? Now we speak about Sam Page. Sam Page, great fighter. All right, let me rewind before someone cuts that. Sam Page, good fighter. Not great. Meat and potatoes, right? So she's good at everything. I'm not going to say that she's a world beater at any one thing, but, I wouldn't look at her and say she has bad striking or she has bad wrestling or she has bad jiu-jitsu or anything really, bad cardio. She has good cardio, very good cardio, actually. She's got elite cardio. But in general, she's like a 7 at everything, right? Like a 6 or a 7, as opposed to Amorim looks like a 10 in jiu-jitsu and maybe like a 5 in striking or something, right? Sam Page is a workhorse. She's going to keep grinding you down, jab, jab, jab. She's quite rudimentary in her strikes, but it doesn't matter because it works for her style. She has good elbows in the clinch, and honestly, she has very, very good. She has very good weapons in the clinch. Her pace and pressure and her volume is good, man, and it breaks fighters down. We saw it broke down. Who's the girl she finished in round 3? Elise Reed. It broke down Elise Reed. It was just the pace, the pressure, the grappling, the durability, because she took some licks and just kept on coming forward. She just broke her. She kind of broke Estela Nunes as well. She had a close 3rd round against Luana Panera, who's a decent fighter in the UFC. She comes on, Sam Page, right? She comes on. Now, in this fight, it is, and I'm actually going to hurry up now because honestly, I don't want to be doing a 2-hour breakdown. But in this fight, it's definitely a question mark. We just don't know, guys. Jacqueline Amorim has had 6 fights. She's only fought 6 times in her entire career. When you're talking about Sam Page has 12 fights. She's got double the fights, and she probably has about quadruple the, or maybe even 5 times the fight time. We know Sam Page can go 15 minutes. We know Sam Page has good durability. She's never been finished other than Demopoulos in round 4. If that was a 3-round fight, it wouldn't have been finished. And then obviously the Tisha Torres fight, that wasn't the best look. But this girl's fought so many times. She's gone for a long time. We know that she can do it. We don't know if Jacqueline Amorim can go a hard 3 rounds. It seems like she potentially can, but who the hell knows? At the end of the day, if Sam Page gives her any resistance, which, by the way, she hasn't got any resistance in her 6 fights thus far. If Sam Page gives her any resistance, this girl might just capitulate. I know people are going to be like, no, she's a phenom. She's not just going to give up. We don't know. We have no idea. She's got 6 fights. She could easily break after 2 minutes if Sam Page is just she can't take Sam Page down. Sam Page is hitting her in the face 5-6 times. We don't know, guys, right? The betting line for this is -250 for Jacqueline Amorim. I can't get behind it, my guys. I cannot get behind it. I'm sorry. Sam Page is +200. I think Sam Page is worth a shot here. I'm not going to say go crazy on it because, I mean, Amorim looks legit from top position. She really does. And her credentials back her up. So she definitely can go out there and get a first-round submission. She may even be able to get a second or third round submission. What I'm saying is there's massive questions. We see it time and time again where fighters come in from the regional scene, 6-0, 7-0, and they're finishing everybody, and then they can't get one finish in the UFC. So, you know, it's not something we haven't seen before. I feel like Sam Page is worth a shot here. This is dog or pass easily for me. If you want to bet Amorim because you think she's legit, then I would just take Amorim to win inside the distance. Actually, I will go Amorim submission because I definitely think the submission's live. I'm just going to take Sam Page outright, though, man. She's +200. She's being disrespected. I don't know anything about Amorim. I kind of feel like she definitely can sub her, but I'm just going to say Sam Page is the bet here. And I'm a gambler at the end of the day, so I honestly don't care who wins the fights. I just care about the lines, right? So I don't think the line is correct from what we know for Sam Page. And honestly, even if Jacqueline goes out there and subs her in round 1, in my opinion, it's still not warranted because we don't know the level of her. Whatever you want to say, credentials, bomb. Her takedowns look bad. She shoots from way out. We don't know if she's going to be able to get takedowns on Sam Page. So even if she goes out there and subs her in 60 seconds, -250 is still not justified. Pre-fight. Post-fight, yeah, probably. But pre-fight, right? And all we care about is pre-fight. So yeah, that's it, guys. I'm going to take Sam Page there. Who else we got? The next fight we got Steve Garcia versus Shailin Nerdembeki. Yeah, so this is a decent fight, I'll say. It's a fight which I think is going to be kind of violent. I definitely feel like, you know, whether it finishes or not, I do think that these guys are going to be in a bit of a war. Steve Garcia is massive. He's 6 foot with a 73-inch reach, and we can see here that Shailin Nerdembeki is only 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. So Steve Garcia is going to have a big reach advantage here. He's going to have a size advantage here. And Steve Garcia fights like there's no tomorrow, man. The guy throws heavy lever. The guy throws huge punches. And I feel like he's going to have opportunities to catch Shailin Nerdembeki here because I don't think Nerdembeki, I don't think his defense is the best. I think it's average, but I think the way Steve Garcia throws so wild, he's going to have chances to land on the chin, right? Steve Garcia is kind of like a grinder. He throws heavy shots, and then if things are getting too high paced or if things getting close, he'll just take you down. I don't know if his chin's great. I've seen him been hurt multiple times, but you know he hasn't been stopped a lot. He's only been stopped once, so you know maybe he does have good durability. Maybe just his chin is not that good because I've seen him get dropped multiple times. You know, but he's been dropped by hammers like. You know, Meerschaert hit him with the biggest shot ever. And who else was it? Charlie Ontiveros was teeing him up, you know, dropped him about 3 times in that fight. But the guy's going to keep pushing forward. He's going to keep coming. But he's just vulnerable, man. Like, he's wild in the grappling and he's wild on the feet. So people can take advantage on that. And when we go to Shailin Nerdembeki, I've actually backed this guy a few times as an underdog. And he's cashed for me every single time. You know, I remember cashing him at big dog odds against Sean Soriano. I actually bet against him when I bet on Joshua Kulabau. And he kind of impressed me in that fight because I bet on Joshua Kulabau money line at like -200 or something. But I also bet on Joshua Kulabau to win inside the distance. And I was actually quite surprised that he was able to survive that. You know, if we go back to his regional scene, this Shailin dude has been fighting on a Chinese regional scene. and he's been stopped many times. He got stopped by Zhu Rong, who's ex-UFC fighter. He's not a good fighter. He might still be in the UFC. I'm not sure. I don't think he should be. He got stopped by this guy who was 2-2. He got stopped by this guy who was like 10-5 or something. Like, the guy's been getting finished and been getting beat by guys with bad records on the regional scene. I just thought he was going to get finished now. I knew Culibao was going to touch him up. Comes into that fight and he gets beat up badly for 3 rounds, but he never goes down. Never really. I got wobbled kind of once, but he impressed me is what I'm going to say, right? I thought Culibao would make it a lot easier. That's why I bet on him at minus 200. I mean, he's still 30-27, but that's neither here or there. Basically, I think that this guy has improved from the regional scene. You know, because if you go back to the regional scene, like I said, been getting beat, knocked out and stuff. So I do think he's improved, but I just still don't trust him. I feel like one of these days he's going to lose a fight where he's minus 200 in. He's minus 200 in this fight, so it definitely could be that. But it's hard to trust Steve Garcia because, look, I feel like the way Steve Garcia fights, he can probably knock out a lot of people. Like, he could come into this fight and knock out Nurdenbecky. If he doesn't get the knockout, I feel like Nurdenbecky has the better process. He has the better game in general. I feel like he's going to be landing more shots. I feel like he can get takedowns of his own. I think he can probably find the back. So it's just tough for me to trust someone like Steve Garcia. Although I kind of do want to fade Nurdenbecky because I feel like everybody thinks he's like a good fighter, and I don't know if he's that good. I think he's just been on a decent run in the UFC. Definitely improved, but I'll just say that I am looking to fade him at a spot. I don't know if I'm going to get there here. I don't know if I can trust Steve Garcia. I might look to an under or something because I do know that. But the under's chalked up as well. And I'm getting away from playing chalk over the last 6 months or so. So, yeah, man, it's tough for me. I'm going to take another underdog. I'm going to take Steve Garcia here just because I like to take underdogs. So, yeah, I feel like this is a close fight, and you can make a case for the underdog in a close fight, right? So, yeah. The next fight we have is, who we got? Steve is plus 200. Daz is saying Steve is plus 200. Are you sure about that? Jesus, I thought Steve was like plus 160. I'm sleeping at the wheel, boys. Let me have a look. I got plus 180 best price, plus 175, Daz. So if you get plus 200, I would play it. I would play Steve Garcia at plus 200 easily. 100% I would play that. Daz got him for that. Well done. Daz has got Steve at plus 200. Amit's saying plus 180, plus 170. Yeah, so, at plus 180, plus 170, bet online, one of the sharp markets, plus 160 makes sense to me. I would line them about a plus 130, 125. Yeah, so Daz is going to boast to Twitter. Yeah, I would if I was you. Plus 200 is solid, man. Like, at plus 200, that's where I take the shot. Plus 200 is like where I go, okay, that's where I'm taking a shot. At plus 180, it's like, I want to, once you get under the 35% implied probability, because plus 180, plus 175 is just above that. But plus 200, that's 33% probability. At that point, it's like, yeah, he only has to win the fight 1 in 3 to break even. And I feel like he wins it 1 in 3, a little bit more than 1 in 3. We say like 2 in 5 or maybe something like that. I don't know. So, yeah. We'll get on to the next fight now. I've picked another underdog, so that's 2 underdogs in a row. How long will I keep on going for? Well, to be honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to be going for much longer because we have Trey Ogden versus Ignacio Bahamondes. And this Leonardo dude, why do you think Potan is going to... What are you talking about? I didn't say that at all. Not even close. Someone has not been watching my breakdowns. But if you haven't been watching my breakdowns, why are you commenting on my breakdown? Brother, we're going to get to that fight. Come on, man. Pay attention, brother. Pay attention. You want to make some money, you got to pay attention in life, yeah? Listen, Trey Ogden versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Yeah, I'm not going with another underdog, man. I'm not going with another underdog. I have to stick with the favorite in this one. Solid fighter. I do think that he was probably like I do feel like if he fought his UFC debut again, he would win. I think he would beat John McDessie. I just feel like at the time he didn't. You know, this is an important thing, guys. Let me bring out my face for this because this is important. I can already tell this podcast can be a long one, where I'm going on rants and that. Listen, really important. One iteration of a fight means nothing. Nothing. I get emotional motherfuckers on Twitter posting up on Twitter, oh my God, this guy fought terrible, or this was such a bad bet. Not even on my stuff, just on anybody else's. You don't know what is a bad bet a lot of the time because it's one iteration of a fight. Who knows? Look at Leon Edwards 1 versus Leon Edwards 2. Anyway, I don't even need to speak about all of the times where fighters have had a rematch and gone completely different. Like at the end of the day, we only know one iteration of a fight. I feel like if Ignacio Bahamondes fought John McDessie today, Ignacio Bahamondes wins. And guess what? I bet on John McDessie as an underdog and via decision at massive plus 350. So I have no interest to say that I think Bahamondes would win that fight. I just feel like UFC debut, maybe had some jitters. He wasn't ready. McDessie's a tricky fighter as well, not easy to get. I think Bahamondes has decent upside in the division. I think he's a good fighter. He's a massive fighter. I mean, how big is the dude? Let's have a look together. I mean, this dude is huge, boys. Yeah, 6'3". I mean, 6'3" is massive. I'm 6'3", so I know how big 6'3" is. 6'3" and a 75-inch reach. Trey Ogden is going to have a reach disadvantage and height disadvantage. I think Bahamondes is going to tee off on him here. Ogden is like a tricky guy. I won't say he's not, but I do think he's going to teep him. I think he's going to teep him a lot, actually. He's got very good kicks. He's got decent boxing. I just feel like his volume, his pace and pressure is going to be too much here. And I'm going to leave it there because I want to spend time on some other fights. And there's not much to say here, guys. I mean, Ogden's a good fighter. Like he's a decent fighter. I just feel like he's in too far here. I mean, that Zellhuber fight was ridiculous. I backed Zellhuber there as a big favorite, and I felt like an idiot. But look, I'm gonna say it here, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like if Zellhuber fought Trey Ogden today, and that wasn't Zellhuber's debut, then I think Zellhuber would beat him. I honestly do. I think he would. Honestly, I think he would make it look easy. For some reason, Zellhuber just had, I don't know. He just had octagon jitters. And what do I say? What did I say in my YouTube video? If you guys have been watching my YouTube series lately, and they just tried to cancel us, by the way, and they're not canceling us. They don't want us to make money, but they're too late. We've already made money, and we're going to continue to make it. So, to whoever tried to cancel us, but I'm going to be re-uploading that video that was cancelled, by the way. So subscribe to my channel and wait, because later today I'm re-uploading the video that got cancelled, and that video is very important if you want to make real money in sports betting. But I say that to say this: I've been uploading a lot of videos lately. I've been uploading the videos, and one of the videos I uploaded was about why you shouldn't bet on fighters making their UFC debut. And by the way, I still do this. I bet on Lucas Alexander at plus 140, the guy who looked like minus 500 against Steven Peterson a few weeks ago, right? So I still do it, but it's important to understand that you have to use it in your capping when your capping fighters making their debut, right? And I used it against, or I didn't use it when I bet on Zellhuber, right? I bet on Zellhuber making his debut at a big favorite. I went against my thought process, not against, because I still thought, yes, his debut, but he's still going to win. And that come back to bite me on the ass, right? But I feel like Bahamondes is in his groove now. And I feel like Ogden, maybe, yeah, he looked good against that, against Zellhuber, but it's not going to be the same here. I feel like Bahamondes is going to beat him up. Either he wins a decision, or I think he could honestly finish him. I don't rate Trey Ogden that much. He's, I just don't really rate him that much. Yeah. So the next fight we have is, oh God. Yeah, I won't speak about this one for too long, guys. Cynthia Calvillo against Lupita Godinez. So this fight is a fight of a girl who I think's kind of done. I feel like Cynthia Calvillo is done now. I can't lie. She's 9-5. She's lost her last 4 fights, guys. In the last fight, she had an argument that she won. She outlanded her opponent, Nina Nunes. She took her opponent down, Nina Nunes, a lot more. But I don't know, man. I feel like she's done. I have to say it. At the end of the day, I know Lupita Godinez is kind of like, she lays eggs. Do you know this, guys? Lupita Godinez has been a favorite in every single one of her UFC fights. And she's been big favorites in all of them as well. I mean, I think the only one she wasn't a big favorite in, she was still like minus 180. Might have been against Loma Lookbumi, I can't remember. But she's been a big favorite, and she's another big favorite here. I understand it, though. I have to understand it. I don't like backing big favorites in women's MMA for the most part, just because, I mean, people say women's MMA and women, like, it is true. Certain things they say about women's MMA is not true. You know, like, for example, I heard there was a good comment someone said before, I can't remember, but it was like, everyone always moans about the armbar from guard in women's MMA, right? Like, there's more variance in the finishes in that regard. But I don't really think there is, because for every armbar from guard in women's MMA, there is a flash knockout in men's MMA, which you don't get in women's MMA, right? Unless you're talking about Jermaine Durandamy versus that dude she knocked. I mean, that girl she knocked out in like 10 seconds. Who was that girl? Oh, man, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, brain. Who did Jermaine Durandamy knock out in like 10 seconds? And then she protested. She went on... Aspen Ladd. Yeah, Aspen Ladd. Come on, guys, man. You guys are slow. Aspen Ladd. Yeah, so other than that, there's not really any flash knockouts in women's MMA, right? And then we get all the nerds tweeting, no, he was wrong. There was one flash knockout, 2016. All right, guys, I'm saying in general, yeah? Like, there's not a lot of knockouts in women's MMA, but there is in men's MMA, flash knockouts, right? So, yeah, people moan about women's MMA, armbar from guard, but I don't think the variance is there, like, because people get armbar from guard. I think the variance is there just because women go through a lot more than men, biologically, physically, right, with their bodies, first of all, and emotionally and mentally. Oh, sue me for saying this, right? Every single month, they go through a menstrual cycle, which immensely affects them. If any of you guys are married, you damn know what I'm talking about. I ain't married, but I know you know what I'm talking about. So, I mean, this is common knowledge, right? So I think that definitely affects women. I mean, they speak about it. A lot of women fighters have come out and spoke about it, right? So that affects women. And also because the sport isn't as advanced, because it hasn't been around for as long, you know, women's training fighting anyway. The skill sets are not as advanced. If they're not as advanced, they're going to make more mistakes. So I feel like there is variance baked in. But I don't think it's just like, oh yeah, because they get armbar because they're stupid or something like that. I think that's stupid. And Fubu's, yeah, exactly right. Tangent rant. You know this is how I do. I mean, guys, if you want to go to a YouTube channel with straight up picks, you can go to these other YouTube channels, because I like to rant. I'm just having fun, man. And most people enjoy it, and I enjoy having fun talking bollocks with you guys too. So, but this is all important stuff, you know. Anyone can answer Chris, who's saying, someone tell me the last Canadian who won. I don't know what he's talking about. The last Canadian who won was Mike Malott a few weeks ago. He submitted whoever he submitted, Johan Lioness. He was also a Canadian, so a Canadian had to win. So I don't know when a Canadian won against a Canadian. I don't know, bro. But yeah, in this fight, going back to this fight, women's MMA, I do feel like Lupita's the deserved favorite here. I think she should probably win the fight cleanly. Cynthia Calvillo looks completely done. She looks a shell of herself. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say about this, guys. I am favoring Lupita Godinez here. I do think that people are probably going to be like playing Cynthia Calvillo, just because, you know, we always get those hardcore MMA fans, and they don't want to accept minus 300s in women's MMA. They don't want to accept fighters who were really good fighters, Cynthia Calvillo, like fading, you know, and we'll get to one later when we speak about Rob Fontañanes, but I don't know, man. I honestly do think Lupita Godinez deserves to be a decently big favorite. Right, so the next fight is another fight that honestly, guys, I do not care about this fight, man, but we're going to speak about it. It's Chase Sherman versus Carl Williams. And you know what? I'm not going to speak about it for more than 60 seconds. Because the reason is because I haven't taped this fight, right? I'm going to give you my 60-second breakdown. We can get onto some real fights. After this, 90% of the fights are serious. So Carl Williams is probably just going to go in there, take him down, right? Chase Sherman doesn't have good takedown defense. Chase Sherman isn't great on bottom. Yeah, he got taken down by Romanov about 5 or 6 times, and he got up about 5 or 6 times, but he ended up getting finished in that fight. He got finished the first time Jake Collier took him down. Carl Williams is going to take him down easily. Carl Williams takes everybody down. I don't really feel like he's not going to take him down at all. Like, there's no way he doesn't get takedowns in this fight. The only thing is he doesn't do that much damage, right? So even if he does get takedowns, he might not finish him. Like, that's not a guarantee. And if he doesn't finish him, Chase Sherman's got decent leg kicks. You know, he's got a decent jab. Like, he might be able to win some minutes on the feet. Carl Williams is a massive favorite here, guys. So I don't know if I get behind minus 500. But, yeah, I do feel like Carl Williams wins the fight. You know, maybe you play Carl Williams' decision just because, you know, just to bring his line down, because Carl Williams does go to decision a lot. You know, at the end of the day, Chase Sherman, he is quite durable. You know, I know he got finished by Romanov and he got finished by Collier, but, you know, other than that, like, he's been quite durable in general. I mean, he went to a decision with Parker Porter, went to a decision with Waldo Cortez Acosta. It's just that he gets finished on the ground a lot. So, like, Carl Williams will be on the ground here. So if he is, then it's going to open up Chase Sherman's durability concerns, because no durability concerns on the feet. I mean, not none, but not really that much durability concerns on the feet. But on the ground there is. So it's just a bit risky. But anyway, yeah, I'm going for Carl Williams for the win there, easy. The next fight we have is, this is a good fight. I'm excited to talk about this one. Gerald Meerschaert versus Joseph Pfeiffer. What can we say, man? GM3 is the dog, man. He's always an underdog. Literally, always an underdog. Except for that one time he fought Dustin Stoltzfus. But the guy is... Daz did a good post on Twitter a few days ago where he posted like GM3, and if GM3 gets to round 3, watch out, or something like that, and he posted up a face of him. GM3 in round 3 is a motherfucker. He finishes a lot of people in round 3. He's got a hell of a lot of round 3 finishes. It's just weird, man. Gerald Meerschaert is a weird fighter. Sometimes he shows up with durability. Sometimes he shows up with no durability. I mean, you get knocked out by Chimaev. Okay, sweet. But it was like the first punch. Like, all right, but whatever. Let's forget about that. Knocked out in like 16 seconds. Knocked out by Ian Heinisch, which I don't think is a good look. Ian Heinisch doesn't seem to hit that hard. And he gets knocked out straight away. It's not a good look. But then he takes the absolute bombs of the bombs off Mahmoud Muradov, gets hit a couple times, not that much. It was an easy fight, this one, not Muradov wasn't. But he gets hit a few times by Silva, who's potentially one of the hardest hitters in the division, apparently. And then ends up finishing him when Alex Pereira hit him with everything, couldn't finish him. Like, MMA is crazy. MMA is nuts. GM3 beat up Silva, made it look easy, and finished him. Made it look more easy than Alex Pereira. What? Alex Pereira went to a decision with him, hit him with everything, couldn't finish him. GM3 finished him. What? Like, Mahmoud Muradov hit GM3 with everything, would have knocked out 70% of the roster in that division. But GM3 ate it, kept coming forward, threw head kicks off his own. I mean, the guy's crazy. But then he just knocked out by one touch. He gets one touched by Ian Heinisch and stuff. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. His opponent, Joe Pfeiffer, coming in off the Dana White's Contender Series. Then he got a win in his debut against Alan Amadovsky. Good fighter, very strong fighter. You know, it's funny because if you go back on watch the regional scene, the guy loves takedowns. So he takes everybody down. But, you know, if you look at the Dana White's Contender Series fight, he got takedowns there. But if you look at both of his Dana White's Contender Series fights and, you know, more recent fights and the UFC bout, he he's more of a knockout artist, right? So he hits hard and stuff. So, and by the way, if you guys did tape study and watched that first Contender Series fight that Joe Pyfer was in, where he was winning the fight, he was looking good against Stoltzfus, actually, who Meerschaert finished in round 3, of course. So they have a mutual opponent there. He got slammed on his arm, and his arm completely bent out of place. His arm went like that way. It went like that way. It was fucking horrible, man. That was so bad. But yeah. Also, speaking about tape study, I know a few people couldn't got messages and stuff, and I get a lot of messages, and I need like an assistant or something, or I need to find a way to answer these messages because I get way too many messages. I can't answer them all. But a few people were messaging me about how can I get Meerschaert's fight with, or how can I get Pyfer's fight with Jonathan Patty. And if you want to do tape study on this, if you go to UFC Fight Pass and you type in Ring of Combat or Ring, because I think if you type in Ring of Combat, it doesn't come up. But if you type in Ring, it does. Something like that. You can go to UFC Fight Pass, type in Ring of Combat 70, find Ring of Combat 70, and scroll to the main event. It's like a 2-hour event, and that's how you fight it. That's how you find it. So in that fight, Pyfer just gassed himself up badly. Went for like 10 takedowns, got about 10, but Patty kept getting back up to his feet. Was tired in round 2, got hit up on the feet a little bit, and then got submitted with a guillotine choke. One that I've seen Gerald hit a few times. It looked like a 10-finger one, you know. He adjusted it a little bit, but Gerald Meerschaert hits that a lot. Look, in this fight, it's pretty rudimentary in my opinion. Pyfer's going to come out there and knock him out, right? In my opinion. Or Meerschaert's going to take the beating. You know, maybe he gets taken down a couple times, get back up to his feet. He'll take the beating, and then he will finish Pyfer. You know, it's really one of the two. And I don't know what one it is. Now, if we look at the betting lines are currently got Pyfer as like a decent, like his minus 200 favorite, right? I honestly do think there's some value on GM3 at plus 170. You can also get him plus 165. Plus 165 bet online, plus 170 Caesars, plus 160 market wide. The worst price you're going to get is plus 155. So I honestly do think there is some value on GM3 there, just because the guy's criminally underrated. And someone asking me like, I like round 2 to start? I don't like it just because it's way too much variance for me. I think this fight is going to be fireworks. You know, a lot of Gerald's fights end up being fireworks, and then all of Pyfer's fights are fireworks. Pyfer has never been under 1.5. He went under 1.5 once, and that was in his second pro fight, went to decision. Every other fight's gone under 1.5, right? I'm not saying this one will, because if Gerald wins, I do think it's probably going to be round 2, round 3. But it's more predicated on GM3. If you're saying the fight starts round 2, then I feel like Gerald Meerschaert turns to a favorite, right? So, yeah, if you want to line Pyfer as a favorite, fair enough. But if the fight definitely starts round 2, in my opinion, you have to favor Gerald, and so he should be a favorite. So relating that back to round 2 starts at minus 115, that is a bet on Gerald not getting finished in the first round. And I'm not sure he's gonna survive round 1. Now, if he does survive round 1, I feel like he could take over. And I would line this fight at Pick'em. Because I do understand Joe Pyfer could knock him out. But look, if Gerald Meerschaert, people saying unloading a clip and that, relax yourself, man. If Gerald Meerschaert loses this fight to Joe Pyfer, it's his worst loss of his entire career. He's never got beat by a worse fighter. Now, you can argue that Heinisch is a worse fighter. Maybe, right? But I mean, actually, let's look at Gerald's record, because I might be wrong there. But most of his losses are against good guys, man. Let's just go through Gerald's record, yeah? Because honestly, he doesn't really get beat by these guys. So Krzysztof Jotko, he ain't that good. He's similar level to Joe Pyfer, in my opinion. We can't say Joe Pyfer's better than Jotko. We can say he's similar level. Hamzat Chimaev, all right. Ian Heinisch, again, similar level. Eric Anders, similar level. Yeah, I guess so. Kevin Holland, Jack Hermansson, Thiago Santos, And then obviously 2014, Sam Alvey. I mean, Sam Alvey weren't bad at 2004, so there's no point in going back all these fights, right? But what I'm saying is, in the UFC, if Gerald does lose this fight, it will be the fight that he is, how can I say, it will be his worst loss of his career, in my opinion. Just from what we know of Pyfer. Maybe Pyfer goes on to be this killer. It's possible, but from what I know of him at the moment, he got choked out by Jonathan Patty. Let's remember that, yeah? He got choked out by a bum, basically. By a bum. So, yeah. Anyway, I like Gerald as the underdog here because, I feel like this fight should be a pick 'em for sure. So who we got next? And first of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'm just trying to make you money, you know. That's how it goes. And so I appreciate the support. And if you guys watch my YouTube videos, if you're watching it right now, hit the like. It's free. It's easy. It's only there. And watch my other videos and like and comment on those. Even if you don't watch it, just like and comment, because that's how we get the algorithm popping. And you already know, if I'm getting more subscribers on YouTube, if more people are commenting, if more people are liking, I am going to make way more content. If I'm seeing no one's liking, no one's commenting, I'm not going to make content. I'm not going to tell you how to make money on MMA. I'm not going to say you should bet on this guy. I'm not going to do full card breakdowns because there's no point. There's not a lot of viewers anyway type thing, you know? So anytime I see people engaging, interacting, commenting, liking, then I always instantly make more content. So I'd appreciate it if you do that. And in return, I'm going to get you paid. You know I'm going to get you paid. All right, who we got next? Boys, I haven't eaten today, man. I need to eat. Usually I don't eat in the morning. Intermittent fasting. Everyone talks about it. I've been doing that shit for 5 years, 7 years, man. Everyone always gassed about it now. That's good, you know. Intermittent fasting is good if you're trying to lose weight, if you're on a calorie deficit, because basically, all right, it's this fight. Because basically you just have a shorter eating window. But don't worry, I'll make a video on how to cut soon. All right, the next fight is Michelle Waterson and Luana Panera. Yes, and all my guys in the chat, man. Appreciate every single one of you, man. Definitely. Mushroom, my man, smash the like. Amidst liking the videos, I appreciate that. Sean's saying if you're here in the chat and you haven't liked, here's your sign. Yeah, because I always forget. And Mushroom always reminds me. Mushroom always puts it in the chat, and I appreciate that because I just forget, man. So when I remember, I'm like, all right, I need to make a point of it now. Chris, we love you. Man, I love you too, brother. William's been there from day, you know. I know you, William, bro. I remember you from back in the day. First thing Brandon did, he's a legend. That's why I call it Break Fight. Bro, this chat, bro. This is the solid chat, man. All right. Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Luana Panera. I don't have to say no more than that. Waterson is washed, in my opinion. Panera is a good fighter. Yeah, she gasses out, but she fights through it well. Look, I know everyone's going to say she gasses out this week. I haven't listened to any podcast this week. I honestly don't listen to that podcast, really, because I don't want it to impact, you know, how I feel about fights and stuff like that. Every now and then I'll listen to like 1 or 2 fights just to keep up to date. I like to support the stuff. I always like it and that. But I don't listen to podcasts, and I haven't listened to any this week. I guarantee everyone's going to be like, Luana's a gasser. She gasses out. She's a gasser. Listen, let me make myself big for this. She won 30-27 against Sam Page. If you are a gasser, you don't win 30-27 against Sam Page. Yes, say what you want about Sam Page, but Sam Page is a motherfucker with the cardio and the durability. Yeah, we spoke about that earlier. She will break you if you're a gasser. She got beat up in that fight. Sam Page got beat up, man. She got hurt in every round. She lost to 30-27. The third round was a bit close, 29-28 on one judge's scorecard. She won every round against Sam Page. Sam Page is known for her cardio and durability. Mushroom saying they have all said it. I'm guessing they have. I didn't even know that, but I'm guessing they have. Luana was hitting those throws all 3 rounds. Yes, she was, man. Thank you, someone. Exactly. Garrett, look, that's what I'm saying. Honestly, I haven't watched any podcast, but everyone's going to be saying it this week. They're wrong. They're wrong. They don't know how to read the fight properly. They don't know how to read the fight. Yes, she slows down. All right. She ain't Michael Phelps. I'm not saying she's, I'm going to say Usain Bolt. Not Usain Bolt. She's kind of more like Usain Bolt. I'm not saying she's Mo Farah. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mo Farah. But she's got decent cardio, man. Like, and honestly, I think that was the first time she went 3 rounds. So that was the first time she went 3 rounds, and she won 30-27 after she looked like she was gassed in round 2. She might be one of those fighters like Andre Petrosky. They look gassed, they look dead to rights, they get the second win. She definitely got a second win. So let's just chill on thinking this girl's a complete gasser. She's not. Wait, why am I saying Sam Page? No, yeah, because I was talking. She is Sam Page. Sam Page, that's Sam Hughes. Her name is Sam Page. Is it? It is Sam Page, isn't it? It definitely is, man. Sam Page. Yeah, it is Sam Page. What are you guys talking about, man? Don't question me, man. I know what I'm on about. It is Sam Page. I just checked Tapology. So, yeah, look, I just wanted to make that point, right? Because I feel like people are going to mistake some of her fights for that. She is a front runner, though. Of course, she's more dangerous in round 1. In this fight, I don't think Waterson's got much for her, man. I don't know, man. I don't think she's got much for her. I think Panera's going to hurt her. I think Panera might even drop her. But Waterson's so tough, she probably won't finish her. But honestly, yeah, I like Panera in this spot. Panera, yeah, I think she's going to win. What am I going to say? There's nothing more to say, guys. I ain't going to go back and forth for hours. You know, so I already do that enough, yeah, when I go on my rants. I think Panera is going to outbox her, outvolume her. Yeah, maybe Waterson might get takedowns, but that's it, man. The next fight we have, Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. Yeah, so I understand the line movement here. And if you was a member of my website, maybe you would have beat the line movement already. And maybe you would have bet Kelvin Gastelum as an underdog. And maybe you wouldn't have to lay minus 135 chalk on him right now. But that's neither here or there. I do like Kelvin Gastelum, guys. I like Kelvin Gastelum in this spot. What does Chris Curtis do well? He's got very, very good timing, and he's got very good counter boxing. That's it. Nothing else, guys. Now, by the way, he does that. Bro, I don't need a mortgage, man. Go away. I'm not going to go into my rant about mortgages. It's not the time. It's not the time. By the way, I'll make myself big for this. Curtis is very good at what he does, and that carries him a lot. By the way, he's got great takedown defense, great cardio, good durability. So I'm not, he does have a few things, right? Maybe I was wrong. I was wrong for saying he only has counterboxing. He has counterboxing, great defensive grappling, great takedown defense, great cardio, great timing, and good durability, right? But if we look at Kelvin Gastelum, great work rate. So he's high volume, A+ durability, amazing durability, good wrestling, amazing cardio, like unreal cardio. I mean, the guy's gone 25 minutes, like tough. The only thing is Kelvin is on a massive, massive downslope. I don't know whether Kelvin's passed it or not. I'm willing to take a shot on him here because I think he has all the stylistic advantages. Maybe, yeah, good offensive boxing as well is true. Good hooks. Maybe, and he's good at range control, actually. He's very good at range control, darting in and out. Maybe Kelvin is past it and Chris Curtis shows him the door here. It's possible. It is possible, right? In fighting, in betting, there's no guarantee. It is possible, but I just feel like he has so many stylistic advantages that I have to take a shot on him here. I've bet Kelvin Gastelum. I think he's going to outpoint Chris Curtis. I think he's going to win a decision. I think he can take Chris Curtis down. Chris Curtis has never been taken down in the UFC. 100% takedown defense. I think Kelvin Gastelum can take him down in this fight. Actually, I think he will get a takedown. He's been showing a bit more takedowns recently. I think he can get a takedown. Yeah, it's tough to back KG in this spot because, I understand that he's not what he once was. But I backed him against Nasserina Marvov as an underdog, and I feel like he definitely would have won that. Especially from what we've seen from a Marvov 5-round fight, you know. But anyway, I'm taking Kelvin Gastelum here, guys. I ain't going to rant about it for ages. You know my thoughts. The next fight is... This is a good fight. This is a good fight. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Someone said something about Raul Rosas. Let me see this one. Upcoming Rosas fight. Potential same-game parlays. Rosas money line and 1+ round 1 takedown -16 can boost round 1 sub to about +630 from +380 by... good man. So everybody screenshot that. Asher Quinn is giving you the jewels, giving you the sauce. But I don't necessarily agree with it. But like, if you do agree with it, if you think that's going to happen, that's a massive, massive, massive bonus you can get. Why do they keep trying to sell me a mortgage, bro? Can you see that on the bottom? I don't need a loan, man. The bookies loan me enough money every single week. Leave me alone. All right. This is a great fight, man. Absolutely amazing fight. 18 years old, Raul Rosas Jr. 18 years old, looking like a world beater. Dominates all of his fights. Never been in trouble. Yeah, he was in a guillotine once, but I mean, please don't tweet me that. You was wrong on your breakdown. You know, 51 minutes, 24 seconds, you was wrong. At the end of the day, the guy's never really been in trouble, right? Like, yeah, he was in guillotine, whatever. He's dominated all of his fights, taking everybody down. I feel like this guy could be the future. But I also feel like that Christian Rodriguez could be the future. I actually think Raul Rosas Jr. has a higher ceiling from what we know, just because he's got one aspect of his game which is like really, really good. But I will say this, guys. The aspect of his game that's good is jiu-jitsu and takedowns and stuff like that, right? Just MMA grappling in general. But it's very hard to be a jiu-jitsu grappler at bantamweight because the guys are so small. They have such a lower center of gravity. They are not even lower center of gravity. You can get tall bantamweights. What I meant to say was they are able to scramble so well because of their height and their weight, right? They're small. They don't weigh a lot. They're able to scramble so well, so fast. So it's not just easy to hold them down. You don't get fighters that just hold people down at bantamweight that much. Who's the best grapplers at bantamweight, right? Who's the best wrestlers, whatever? It's Ricky Simone, right? And Umar Nurmagomedov, and maybe Merab Dvalishvili. Merab Dvalishvili can't hold anybody down. Ricky Simone doesn't really hold fighters down, man. And he's got good jiu-jitsu, Simone. Doesn't really hold fighters down that much, right? It's just hard at bantamweight. It's hard. And then Umar Nurmagomedov. This guy is a phenom. Umar's next champion. I've already bet Umar to become champion. Futures. I think Umar is the future of the division. I think Umar is an unbelievable fighter. I said Umar will beat Peter Yan over a year ago. At the time, people thought I was crazy. Now everyone probably thinks Peter Yan is like plus 300 against Umar. So I think Umar's just a level above, right? So yeah, he holds people down, but I think the guy's on another level. It's not easy to hold people down at bantamweight, right? So yeah, on one hand, I do think Rosas has a massively high ceiling, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold people down at bantamweight forever, right? He's going to have to strike at some point. His striking looks a bit wild, doesn't look that good. And I just feel like Christian Rodriguez is a very, very tough test here. We don't know much about Raul Rosas Jr. We haven't really seen him fight adversity. I have seen Christian Rodriguez fight adversity, hella adversity against JSP. I actually bet him against JSP at like plus 400 or whatever it was. And yeah, all right, he got kind of dominated in the fight. But I mean, that was upper weight class against JSP. An awful style for him. I know Christian Rodriguez doesn't have great takedown defense. He's been taken down multiple times. But I do think his reverse jiu-jitsu is very good. I think his defensive jiu-jitsu is great in terms of he can reverse you with a anaconda, front headlock series, guillotine, whatever he does to reverse you. I do think that Rosas is going to put himself in some trouble here, trying to get takedowns. I think Rodriguez could potentially sub him. And if he doesn't sub him, I think he could Chris Wade Bubba Jenkins him in the first fight and reverse position with the submissions. And then Rosas will be on his back. I don't know how Rosas does on his back. He was on his back in the third fight and in the third round of his Contender Series fight, and he ended up reversing, but he was still on his back for about a minute. I don't think he's going to reverse Rodriguez as easily as he did in that fight. I think Rodriguez is a good dog shot here. I know Rosas looks amazing, but he's 7-0 and he's 18 years old, guys. I can't back him at minus 200 here. But we'll see, man. It remains to be seen. The next fight is Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibio. And, yeah, good fight. It's kind of like the Cynthia Calvillo fight. I actually do think Ponzinibio is kind of done. MMA is so weird because in the Moreno fight, he got hurt in every single round, got wobbled badly in every single round, got dropped in the third round, got dropped in the first round, did the stanky leg in the third round, and got hurt badly in the second round. I mean, the guy gets wobbled in every round, and he comes back to win the fight. But then in the Jeff Neal fight, he doesn't really get wobbled at all. Which is kind of weird, because Jeff Neal, does he hit harder than Moreno? Probably. Is he better than Moreno? Probably. And he goes to a split decision with Jeff Neal, who almost went to a decision with Rachmanov. I mean, it just doesn't really make sense. But honestly, guys, I do think Ponzinibio's passed it here. I don't think Ponzinibio is going to go 15 minutes without getting stung badly by Kevin Holland. And I think this is really, really, what's the word? Not reminiscent, because it hasn't even happened yet. But I think this is a big parallel to the next fight, Rob Font, Adrian Yanez, where you have a guy that's going to compete on minutes, that may even be winning minutes, but I just feel like he's going to get stung and get hurt. And I feel like if you get stung and get hurt by Kevin Holland, he's a very good finisher. When have you seen Holland hurt someone and not get them out of there? It's not often, right? When Holland hurts somebody, it gets you out of there. It's very common. You see other fighters hurt someone and they don't close out the show, right? But Holland doesn't really do that, because if Holland hurts you, he usually has hurt you bad. Doesn't just wobble you. Holland is a very, very good fighter, and I do feel like he's going to catch Ponzinibio at some point in this fight. Someone's saying, do I think Ponzi could try for the wrestling? I mean, obviously he could try, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it on Kevin Holland. I honestly don't. I know Kevin Holland's notorious for having bad takedown defense and grappling. I don't think Kevin Holland, I don't think he's going to grapple him. He's not even going to shoot takedowns, so don't even worry. Don't even give yourself a heart attack betting on the fact that Ponzi's going to shoot takedowns. He's not. And even if he does, he's not going to be able to ground Kevin. He's a striker, man. Ponzinibio's a striker. He's not going to be able to ground Kevin. He's not a Derek Brunson. He's not a Chimaev. I never thought I would be saying Kevin Holland is coming off back-to-back finish losses. I mean, the guy's so durable. In this fight, I feel like Holland is going to probably finish Santiago Ponzinibio. And maybe we even see Ponzinibio retire after this. Maybe. The next fight is reminiscent of that fight, and I'll explain why. It is Adrian Yanez versus Rob Font. This is a good fight. Another fight that I'm very excited for on the card. One of my most excited for fights on the card. One of my most anticipated fights on the card, I should say. It's going to be a good fight, man. Rob Font's definitely going to piece Yanez up for some of it. I just don't know. I just don't see Rob Font fighting a perfect 15-minute fight. I think at some point, Yanez is going to catch him. In my opinion, Yanez hits really, really hard for the bantamweight division. I know he didn't finish, what's his name? Davies? Grant Davis? What? What's the dude's name? The one who just beat Rafael Sunsel. Davy Grant. Grant Davis. Yeah, right. Yeah, Davy Grant. Yeah, I know he didn't defeat David Grant, but I knew he wouldn't knock out Davy Grant. I mean, I know he beat Davy Grant. I know he didn't finish Davy Grant, but I also knew he wasn't going to finish Davy Grant prior to the fight. That's why I bet the over 2.5 rounds at plus 115, I believe it was. Plus money. Yeah, that's the only fight he hasn't finished in the UFC under the UFC banner so far. The guy is a finisher, hits very hard, and we know what it is with Rob Font now, right? We know what it is. We've seen Rob Font get dropped 3 times by Marlon Vera in his last fight. He landed 270 strikes to about 150. Crazy. Outlanded Marlon Vera by over 100 strikes. What happened? He still got beat easily, clearly, because he got knocked down 3 times. In the Aldo fight, he also got knocked down twice and hurt badly more than twice. So I don't feel like Rob Font's durability is as good as it once was. Yeah, okay, the people hurting him hit hard like Marlon Vera and Jose Aldo, but I don't think it's going to be enough. In this fight, I do see Rob Font looking very good early. I think he might even get a takedown. But Yanez is so slick with the counters, man. He hits you inside. And honestly, his boxing, like, you know what it is? He fights, like, his boxing looks like a boxer. He looks like he fights in big gloves. Like, he throws them short shots. Like, they don't even look that good in the small gloves because they're very short, right? They're like, boom, boom. They're like that, right? They're not like, they don't look pretty like boom, like that, right? He doesn't clean it and turn around. He kind of just throws short ones like boom, boom, like that. And they don't look that good in the small gloves, but it's because he fights on the pocket so well. He's got those short, sharp shots and they land very quickly because he doesn't have to talk into them. He doesn't have to throw his whole body, so he can just go bang and it's done, right? Rather than going like, but you know what I mean? So he doesn't turn his whole body. And by the way, he will turn his whole body into shots as well. But oftentimes you don't need to throw, like in MMA, you don't need to throw with the same amount of torque as you do in boxing. You can get away with throwing shorter, sharper shots because the gloves are a lot smaller and knockouts are a lot more prevalent. So you don't need, like in boxing, to knock someone out, you need to hit them with a thunderous punch, massive gloves, pillow gloves. They take a lot of the damage off. They take a lot of the impact off. In MMA gloves, you only need to hit short, sharp shots, right? This is why people like McGregor, like when he goes to boxing or when he went to boxing, it looked like he had zero power against Mayweather, but when he's in MMA gloves, the guy's like a thunderous hitter. It's because the big gloves, man. The big gloves make a big difference. Now, Yanez throws short, sharp shots, and that's what people don't do in MMA. A lot of times, people don't do that in MMA. They really try and extend, or not even extend. It's good to extend, but they really try and turn their whole body into it. They try and punch like they're boxers. This is good in some points in MMA. But at other times, you have to be able to throw those shorter shots, take something off the shot, the sharper shot, because you don't need as much power. Speed kills, timing kills. You don't need as much power in MMA. Right, so I say that to say this. Yanez is amazing at doing that. And I only think he needs to do that once or twice to hurt Font badly. Maybe Font ain't going to get knocked out. Maybe he's going to survive again. But honestly, I do feel like Yanez is going to knock him out in this one. I know Vera couldn't do it. I know Aldo couldn't do it. But I think Yanez not shocks the world because he's a favorite and probably a lot of people are saying he will knock him out. But I think he shocks some people because they're going to be like, damn, Yanez could knock him out, but Aldo and Vera couldn't. But he's going to finish off what Aldo and Vera started. And by the way, even if he doesn't finish him, he's going to win rounds by hurting him badly. So I can even see a body shot knockout in this one, or honestly could. So yeah, man, I'm taking Yanez for the win here. Smash the like Mushroom saying. And guys, we're on to the co-main event, man. Co-main event. The podcast is almost over. I hope I have dropped some jewels. I hope some of my rants help you make some money. What are we going for now? Yeah, so we've got Gilbert Burns versus Masvidal. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, guys. I'm starving and I'm losing focus. I think Masvidal's washed. Damn, there's a lot of guys who are washed on this card, man. And when I say washed, let me make myself big for this. When I say washed, I am talking about washed at this level. They're still going to win tons of fights if they fight on Eagle FC or Bellator. Like, I'm talking about washed at this level, upper echelon. Cynthia Calvillo, washed. Santiago Ponzinibio, washed. George Masvidal, washed. There was a few others. Rob Font, washed. Now, at this level, look, they're great fighters. Shout out to all of them. They're still going to beat people. At this level, at Michelle Waterson, washed. At the level of their opponents. I think Masvidal is washed compared to Burns. I think Burns is still on a streak at this point. I honestly do. I think he's going to hurt Masvidal. I think he could drop him on the feet. People are not speaking about that. I think he could KO him. And I think he can submit him, man. I know Maya can submit him. I know Masvidal is like unsubmittable, right? Unless you're Toby Amada and you do a reverse triangle, whatever it was. But everyone said he was unKOable as well. And then what happened? Kamaru Usman KO'd him. He deteriorated. He got KO'd. I think Burns can knock him out, and I think Burns can submit him. I don't know if he will. I think Burns definitely going to win. I would probably lean decision just because Masvidal is so tough and it's 3 rounds. But it's definitely live for inside the distance, man. Fubu is saying that Burns still chinny, and that's very true, man. He is still chinny. He really is. Burns is chinny. He is, man. I don't think he's got a great chin. Gastelum could be what? Exactly. You're right. You are right. Yeah, he's saying Burns is chinny. It's true. Masvidal is KO or bust in this spot. Maybe he lands a KO. It's possible. Masvidal's got hands. By the way, he's washed. What goes last when you're washed? What goes last when you're washed? Power, right? So he's still got power. He's still got speed, by the way. I just feel like his reactions are a bit slower. I feel like his durability might be waning a little bit. And yeah, man, he's just not in his prime anymore. And I feel like Gilbert Burns is going to take advantage of that, and Gilbert Burns is going to beat him, definitely. The final fight, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. JJ is saying Kelvin Gastelum is an alcoholic. Do you want to provide more context on that? Or are you just making things up? Or do you have inside information? Or have you seen him drinking? I mean, that's a big thing to say about someone. What's the odds on Burns sub round 1? I don't know, brother. I will check for you. Gilbert Burns via submission in round 1. Damn, wouldn't that be a statement? I don't know if necessarily it will come in round 1, but who knows? It's plus 500, my man. Plus 500. JJ is saying members of his own team. And what members are you talking about? What members are you talking about? They've come out against their own teammate and said that he's an alcoholic. Are you sure? I'd like to see a link to this or an interview or something like that. Now JJ's saying I can't say exactly who. Right, well, there you go. I've seen him drunk on TV. I mean, yeah, all right. Well, I'd need to see some actual evidence for that one. William's saying Burns versus Wonderboy might reference what it looks like. Yeah. JJ, I mean, bro, it's nothing wrong with having a drink. You know what I mean? Like, people get drunk all the time. Not everybody's Khabib Nurmagomedov, you know. So just because he was drunk at a UFC event, in my opinion, that's kind of normal. But anyway, Mushroom MMA is a pothead. We know that, bro. You're from Philly, mate. Of course, you're from Philly. I'm surprised you're only a pothead. I mean, but you know what I'm saying? We're not the users, you know what I'm saying? We're the... But anyway, Mushroom knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, what else we got? Yeah, let me not get off track. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. Guys, relax, man. Jay was just saying, like, come on, man. Look, I was only questioning Jay's sources because you hear a lot of stuff online, right? So it's good to question sources, but he might be right. Let's not go in on him. Jesus Christ. But yeah, like, it's nothing wrong with being drunk at a UFC event. Anyway, this is the main event of the evening, guys. We was degenerating into something else, but this is the main event of the evening. I've done a 35-minute breakdown. Look, I just did this full card breakdown in 1 hour and 10 minutes. I did a whole breakdown, in-depth technical analysis. I explained the first fight, the second fight, how things change from the first to the second, and the third fight, round by round, how things change, technical details, inside information, everything. If you want the breakdown for that, go on my YouTube channel. It's up already. Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya. In-depth technical breakdown and analysis video. I'm going to keep it short and sweet for this one, because I've already broken it down and you can watch it. So Alex Pereira is a massive dude. I don't understand how he makes 185. It is unbeknown to me. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane how he makes 185. He's a lot bigger than Israel Adesanya. It's funny because you go back and watch the first fight, there was about the same, even the second fight, there was about the same same height, same weight, like they look the same. If you go back and watch the third fight, Israel looks a weight class below him. It looks like when Israel was fighting Jan Blachowicz. Alex Pereira was massive. He's got massive since they last fought in 2017 from 2022 when they last fought. In that 5-year period, he got massive. He's huge. I don't know how he does it. He's just genetics, bro. Like, just genetically, he's able to make the weight. Maybe his bones weigh not a lot. But then the guy hits like a truck. So usually you think you have more bone density then. Anyway, the guy has the insane touch of death. The left hook is like something I have never, ever seen before. I've never, ever seen a left hook that powerful in MMA anyway, in kickboxing. I've never seen one shot. Like, fighters have heavy hands, right? But I've never seen a fighter with one shot so devastating than any of his others. I mean, his left hook is 10 times better than his uppercut, his right straight. His left hook is his left hook's so good, he just spams left hooks. Sometimes he gets you up against the cage and he just spams left hooks because his left hook is so good. He knows if it touches you, it's game over. Fuba's saying his right hand is pretty impressive. Every single one of his strikers is impressive. His left hand is on a league of its own. If his right hand is impressive, his left hand is unimaginable. Whatever word you want to use. It's crazy. The left hook is unreal, and that's how he knocked out Izzy in the second fight, and that's how he knocked out Izzy in the third fight. People remember the flurry and punches with the right and the straights with the left. No. Izzy he stumbled a little bit, but he was stumbled. He was on the cage. He was hurt. Izzy was hurt. When Izzy got hit with the left hook, the fight was over. He wasn't hurt anymore. The fight was done. He couldn't fight back. He was done. Good stoppage, by the way. Bad stoppage originally. When you watch the slow motion, good stoppage. In my opinion, Israel's the better striker. Just when you talk about striker. Yes, exactly like Mirko's high kick, 100%. Yes, left kick cemetery. So I feel like Israel's the better striker. I do feel like he can find shots better. I feel like he's more technical. I think he can read his opponent better. Now, they're both very comparable. One's not so much better than the other. I do think Izzy is better at those things, though. I think Izzy's going to be putting out more volume. Not by much, but he will. Alex Pereira out-volumed Izzy last time, but actually he didn't. Izzy was comfortably out-voluming Alex Pereira until the last round. In the last round, Alex Pereira hit him with so many shots, as we know, outlanded him by like 20 strikes. And so he narrowly outlanded him over the fight. But I think Israel's got a little bit more volume. I think he's a better point fighter. But Alex is always going to be live to hit the knockout. And if he doesn't knock him out, he's always going to be live to hurt him, right? I think Israel will be smart to use grappling in this fight. I don't know if he will be, because it's like, he's a kickboxer. He's been knocked out twice by Alex. If he wins this fight on grappling, he's probably not going to be. And this is a real thing, guys. People don't understand this, man. It's like when everyone was going crazy at Mokaev for tapping to that knee bar. It's just a different mindset, man. It's fine if people want to do it. I've accepted in life that people have a different mindsets, and sometimes they just will never understand. Like, people will never understand ego or fighter's ego, or like a male's ego when they're in a dangerous situation or around dangerous people, and Mokaev not tapping to that is completely understandable. You know, I completely understand it. Some people will never understand it, but it is what it is. It's different mindset. It's fine. Same thing can be said about Israel Adesanya. You know, people are like, oh, you know, if he just grapples, he wins. I don't know if he'll be able to live with himself if he wins by grappling. If he grapples like a little bit in round 3 and still wins, you know, but I feel like Izzy really is going to not need to, but I think Izzy really wants to knock him out in this fight. And yes, you might think it's silly, and it may be silly. Maybe you should just fight smart. But at the end of the day, it's a fact that ego governs the world. These fighters wouldn't be fighters if they didn't have massive ego. You know, that, like, you can't just discount ego. I feel like ego is so important that in this fight, we may see Izzy go out there and try and knock him out, you know, and put himself in harm, in danger. I think he might be a bit more aggressive than he usually is. Also because he knows he can hurt Pereira, man. He knows he can finish him. He finished him in round 3. He finished him in he finished him in the 3rd fight. He finished him in the 2nd fight. And so, yeah, I feel like, wait, what am I saying? No, sorry, I'm tired now, guys. He hurt him in the 3rd fight, right? Izzy. And he badly. And he almost finished him in round 1. Another 10 seconds, maybe he gets the finish. I'm actually going to say he does. We'll never know, but I think he does. And he hurt him in the 2nd fight. Now, obviously, in the 2nd fight, he didn't hurt him as bad, in my opinion, but he did hurt him. I don't know whether he would have finished him or not, but yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know if this is actually the MMA prodigy. I don't think it is, because this is probably someone pretending to be him, but because this guy's about 13 years old. He's about that big. I'd flick him. But actually, I shouldn't be saying that if that's not him. Sorry, brother. If that's not you and you see this, I apologize. I don't think that's the real guy, though. Yeah, so what I was saying is that Izzy's hurt him in round 3, as I said, and round 2. So, he knows he can hurt him. Maybe he goes out there and tries to hurt him. I don't know, man. I feel like it's 50-50 fight, probably. Because Izzy's definitely got some advantages. But Alex Pereira has the touch of death. He can knock anyone out at any point, right? So I'm calling it a 50-50 fight. I'm going to actually... Oh, I don't know who I'm not even going to give anyone. I don't know, man. I'm not going to give anybody. I've done a 30-minute prediction. If you want that, go and watch that fight. That's it, guys. It is wrapped up. By the way, you know what? I'll leave one jewel. One jewel. I like the under in this fight. That's it. For everybody who's watched this late into the podcast, I appreciate you all. Hopefully, we cash the under 4.5 rounds. The fight doesn't go to decision. I leave you with that jewel, just as a token of my thank you for staying this long. Oh, but yeah, man, this is it's been a good podcast. We had a lot of people in. We had about 90 people in at one point. So thanks everybody for watching. Anybody who has stayed this long, I really appreciate you. Like I say, without anybody watching my podcast, I wouldn't make the podcast, because what's the point in making a podcast that no one listens? So I appreciate everybody for being here wholeheartedly. I will continue to make this free content for you. If you want to get access to me and get all of my official picks and predictions, then you can do that. You will make a lot of money. It's basically inevitable that you will make a lot of money long term. As I've said, people have made hundreds of thousands of dollars with my picks, and so you will too. But you're under no obligation. You know, if you just want my free stuff, I'm still going to put it out there. I appreciate everyone for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, bang, whatever it is. And that's it, man. Shout out to everybody. Yeah. Jay saying thanks. Thank you as well. Cheers for the breakdown. Dan, thank you, Dan. Daz, Sean, Peace, Mushroom, Brad. We got everyone here. Izzy Round 1 KO. Fubu, hit the like. Asha, my man Brandon. We got Mushroom. Mushroom's been there. Appreciate you. Smash the like and go and watch Mushroom's channel, because Mushroom has an MMA channel, breaks down all the fights as well. So shout out to Mushroom. Go and check that out. Dan Hammond, appreciate your efforts. Appreciate you watching. Ice Viking listening at work here too. Yeah, because we're all over the place in the world. So thanks everyone. Appreciate the content. Capping service, my man Felipe, MMA Prodigy. Good work. Thank you for watching. Peace out, guys. Good luck this weekend.